In the fictional town of Hawkins, Indiana, where the strange and supernatural is almost a weekly occurrence, there exists a hero who doesn't look like any other. He's not a stoic policeman, a hardened soldier, or a teen with psychic powers. He's Eddie Munson, the loudmouth, metal-loving, self-proclaimed freak and dungeon master of the Hellfire Club. At first glance, Eddie is all bravado. He commands the cafeteria with dramatic speeches, defiantly plays guitar on a lunch table, and proudly wears his outcast status like a badge of honor. He seems, to the unobservant eye, utterly fearless. But the true heart of Eddie's story, and what makes him one of the most compelling characters in Stranger Things, is not a natural, unshakable courage. It is, instead, a profound and very human performance, a dazzling, chaotic act of bravery where fear is not absent but is the very fuel for the fire. His confidence is, in many ways, a masquerade, a shield hammered together from loud music, defiant words, and a theatrical persona. All to protect a deeply sensitive soul that feels the terror of the world more acutely than most. To understand Eddie's bravery, we must first understand his fear. Hawkins is not kind to those who are different. Eddie lives on the absolute bottom rung of the high school social ladder, labeled a cult leader and a satanic panic poster boy long before any real demons show up. The fear of rejection, of violence, of being forever trapped in the scorn of small-town thinking is his constant reality. When Chrissy Cunningham, the popular cheerleader, approaches him in the woods to buy drugs, we see past his metal god act immediately. He's jumpy, awkward, surprised that someone from her world is even talking to him. This is the real Eddie, not the one performing on the lunch table, but the one who has been hurt by the world and expects more hurt to come. So, he builds a character. Eddie the Banished, the dungeon master, becomes his armor. In the safety of the basement with his fellow outcasts, he controls the narrative. He is brave, heroic, and powerful in the stories he tells. This role bleeds into his everyday life. The loud clothes, the wild hair, the constant theatrical pronouncements, these are all choices. They are a preemptive strike against the town's judgment. If he proclaims himself a freak first, then their rejection loses its power. It's a defense mechanism, a way of screaming, "You can't fire me, I quit," to a society that never wanted him in the first place. This makes the events of his final days so powerful. When Eddie is thrust into a real-life horror story, accused of a murder he didn't commit and hunted by both an interdimensional demon and an entire town looking for a scapegoat, his initial reaction is pure, unvarnished panic. This is the key. He doesn't transform into a cool, collected action hero. He runs. He hides in Rick's boathouse, trembling, insisting he is not a hero. "I'm no hero," he pleads, his voice cracking. "I run from danger. That's what I do." This admission is crucial. It is the fear behind the mask speaking plainly. The confident, swaggering persona has been shattered by a terror so real it cannot be performed away. In this moment, Eddie is not brave at all. He is a scared young man who wants to survive. And it is from this exact point, from the depths of that acknowledged terror, that his genuine, monumental bravery is born. Because bravery is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act in spite of it. Eddie's heroism is a conscious, difficult choice made again and again while his hands are shaking. He doesn't stop being afraid. He learns to function alongside the panic. When Dustin insists he is the bravest person he's ever met, Eddie doesn't feel it. He feels the opposite, but he listens. He goes back into the terrifying upside down, not because some sudden courage washes over him, but because his friends need him. His loyalty, a value born from years of being an outcast who found a family in other outcasts, becomes stronger than his fear. The plan to distract the demonic bats is the ultimate testament to this. It's not a calm, strategic military maneuver. It's pure, chaotic Eddie Munson. It's taking the one thing that has always been his weapon and his shield, his music, and using it as a literal weapon. Setting up his amp in the upside down, shredding Metallica's Master of Puppets on the twisted rooftop is the perfect metaphor for his entire journey. It is performance, it is noise, it is defiance. He is screaming his anthem into the face of a literal nightmare. In that moment, the masquerade and the man become one. The confidence he faked to survive high school is now channeled into a real, mortal battle. He is still terrified, you can see it in his wide eyes, but he is choosing to play his part in the story anyway. He is, finally, the dungeon master of a real campaign, directing the monsters away from his party, sacrificing his own character to save the others. And that is the tragic, beautiful heart of Eddie Munson. He spent his life pretending to be a hero in a fantasy game, secretly believing he was a coward in the real world. But when the ultimate test came, he discovered that the pretend heroism was a rehearsal for the real thing. The mask he wore to hide his fear became the face of his courage. He died not as Eddie the Banished, the persona, but as Eddie Munson, the friend, who looked his overwhelming panic in the eye and said, "Not today." His final words to Dustin, "I didn't run away this time, right?" are the most important line he ever speaks. They are a question, seeking validation from the one person who always saw through his act. He needed to know that the performance, this time, was real. That in the face of a terror far greater than schoolyard bullies or small-town prejudice. He had held the line. In the end, Eddie's story teaches us that bravery isn't something you are born with. It's something you build, piece by piece, out of the things you love, your music, your friends, your stories, and you use that construction to stand against the darkness, even when every instinct tells you to flee. His confidence was a masquerade ball thrown in a storm, but when the storm broke through the ceiling, he didn't stop dancing. He played louder, he thrashed harder, and he turned his greatest performance into a final, unforgettable act of sacrifice, proving that sometimes the most real courage looks an awful lot like fear refusing to be the only thing left standing.